Ethan Carter adjusted the controls of his small exploration ship as it hurtled through the black void toward the planet designated Cypher 9. The display flickered with intermittent warnings. The turbulence of the planet's upper atmosphere was more severe than expected. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he didn't panic. He had been trained for situations like this. Still deep inside, a tiny voice of doubt whispered that this mission might be unlike anything he had faced before. He was part of a small human contingent exploring the edge of the known galaxy. Most missions had been straightforward: survey mineral resources, map topography, report anomalies. But Cypher 9 was different. Satellite images had shown strange, geometric structures buried beneath the planet's surface. No human-made machinery could have created them, and for reasons unknown, the planet had been declared off-limits for routine missions until now. Ethan's curiosity, coupled with the thrill of discovery, had overridden any caution. The ship jolted violently. Alarms blared. The automated system struggled to stabilize the craft. Ethan's hands moved instinctively over the controls, attempting to correct the ship's angle. The atmosphere outside hissed against the hull. Lightning-like streaks of electrical discharge danced across the clouds. Finally, with a heart-pounding crunch, the ship skidded along the rocky surface of a narrow canyon. Dust and debris clouded the cabin. Ethan groaned and slumped against the control panel. He was alive. That was all that mattered for the moment. Crawling out of the wreckage, Ethan surveyed the barren, reddish landscape. Jagged cliffs surrounded him. The sky glowed with a sickly green hue, casting eerie shadows across the terrain. The planet was silent, except for the faint hum of wind against the rocks. His comms were offline. No contact with Earth, no reassurance from his team. Alone. His instincts screamed that he shouldn't wander too far, yet the ruins in the distance called to him. They were partially buried in the canyon floor, a strange mix of organic shapes and angular structures. Their surfaces shimmered faintly, as if alive. Ethan's mind raced. Human intelligence could not have made such structures. Whoever built them had technology far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. He moved cautiously toward the ruins, scanning for any sign of danger. His footsteps echoed across the empty canyon. Each step felt heavier, as though the ground itself resisted him. As he neared the largest structure, a sudden shimmer of light caught his eye. He froze. A figure emerged from the shadows. Ethan's first thought was that it must be another human, perhaps a researcher lost decades ago. But the being's form defied any human logic. It was tall, much taller than any human, and luminous. Its limbs moved with a grace that seemed almost unreal, like a dance rather than walking. Its face, if it could be called that, glowed softly, revealing features both beautiful and alien. Then it spoke. The voice was melodic, yet clear, fluent in a strange but understandable human accent. "Are you alone, human?" His rational mind screamed that this was impossible. No human could have survived here, let alone speak with such presence. And yet the words were unmistakable. He nodded cautiously, unsure if nodding was the correct gesture in this encounter. The being, Celara as he would later know her, did not move threateningly. Her eyes, if they were eyes, radiated intelligence and something deeper, something almost like curiosity. She stepped closer, and the ground seemed to respond to her presence, pulsing faintly beneath her feet. Ethan's instincts screamed to back away, yet he felt an inexplicable pull. "I am Celara," she said, her voice like a song carried on the wind. "I have waited long to meet one such as you. I got caught in a storm and—" He followed her into the alien structure. Inside, the air felt different, warm, almost breathable, yet carrying an energy that made the hairs on his neck stand. The walls were alive, pulsating faintly with colors that shifted like liquid metal. It was as if the building itself were conscious, observing them. Celara moved effortlessly, gliding rather than walking, as corridors opened before them without warning. Ethan tried to make sense of his surroundings. The structure seemed infinite, yet contained. No corners, no sharp edges, only flowing pathways that twisted and folded in ways impossible for human architecture. The deeper they went, the more Ethan felt a strange resonance in his chest, a sense that his presence was significant here. "Why am I here?" he finally asked, voice low, almost a whisper. Celara paused. She turned toward him, her form radiating light that bathed the corridor in an ethereal glow. "To understand humanity," she said simply. "To see if your kind can survive what is coming." Ethan could barely comprehend the scale. "This is beyond anything humans have ever seen," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Solara smiled, a gesture that somehow conveyed warmth and challenge simultaneously. Yes, but it is not merely technology that will decide the fate of your kind. It is choice, courage, and compassion. These are what I seek. He had expected danger, perhaps even death, but not a test of morality. A test? He asked. Solara's eyes, or whatever functioned as her eyes, glimmered with understanding. Yes, you will face challenges that require your human qualities, not your tools. Your ingenuity, empathy, and unpredictability will determine whether you are worthy. The first challenge presented itself almost immediately. A narrow bridge of energy stretched across a void that seemed to descend infinitely. The bridge trembled as if it reacted to Ethan's presence. He looked to Solara. "Do not rush," she said. "Observe, think, act with care, but also with courage." He stepped onto the bridge, feeling the energy hum beneath his feet. The bridge reacted to his balance, shifting slightly with each step. He realized that brute force would not help him. Instead, he had to anticipate the bridge's responses, to move with it rather than against it. Slowly, carefully, he crossed, each step a testament to human adaptability. When he reached the other side, Solara nodded approvingly. "You have learned the first lesson. Humanity survives not because of strength, but because of its ability to adapt." Yet he could not deny the strange exhilaration of being here, walking alongside a being of immense power and intelligence. Hours, or perhaps days, passed. Time seemed distorted inside the structure. Each challenge pushed Ethan to think in ways he never had before. Puzzles of logic, situations demanding moral decisions, tests of courage where hesitation could have meant death. And each time, Solara observed silently, occasionally offering cryptic advice. At one point, Ethan found a smaller, seemingly fragile alien lifeform trapped beneath a collapsing energy lattice. Every instinct screamed to leave it behind, to conserve his strength for the challenges ahead. But another part of him, human and unyielding, insisted he try. Carefully, he freed the creature, risking his own safety as the lattice threatened to collapse entirely. Solara watched from a distance. For the first time, she spoke with a hint of admiration. "You understand, life is precious. Not all will make that choice. Few species would." The alien lifeform looked at him with a gaze that felt intelligent, grateful, and he realized that even in this alien world, his humanity mattered. It was his defining strength, and perhaps the very reason he had been brought here. As the day, or what felt like a day, ended, Solara led him to a chamber that overlooked the planet's surface. The view was breathtaking. Storms swirled in colors Ethan had never seen, alien mountains rose jagged and impossible, and the vast alien structures he had glimpsed earlier stretched across the horizon. "You have done well for your first trial," Solara said. "But this is only the beginning. There is much more to understand. The galaxy is vast, and danger comes in forms you cannot yet imagine. Humanity's potential depends on choices you have yet to make. It is what sets you apart." As he settled near the glowing walls to rest, he could not shake the question that Solara had asked when they first met. "Are you alone, human?" For the first time, he realized that being alone was a matter of perspective. Even here on a distant, hostile world, he was connected to something greater, an alien intelligence that sought to understand and perhaps to ally with humanity. And for the first time in his life, Ethan felt that being human was not just a limitation. It was a strength. The night on Cypher 9 stretched endlessly, the alien structure pulsing gently as if breathing with life. Ethan closed his eyes, readying himself for whatever challenges awaited. Whatever the future held, he knew that he would face it with the one thing that no alien or machine could take from him: his humanity. And somewhere deep within the structure, Solara observed him silently, a faint smile curving across her radiant features. She had seen many species, many forms of life, but rarely one like him. Rarely one that could walk the fine line between fear and courage, caution and curiosity, life and sacrifice. Rarely one whose very nature might change the destiny of worlds. Ethan slept, unaware of how significant his choices today had been, and how the galaxy itself would remember the human who dared to cross the threshold of the alien queen's domain. Ethan woke to a gentle vibration in the floor. The alien structure's walls glowed faintly, casting shifting patterns of light across the chamber. He sat up, rubbing his eyes. The events of the previous day, the crash meeting Solara, crossing the energy bridge, saving the small alien life form, felt both real and surreal. Every sense told him he was far from home, yet a strange calm had settled over him. He felt alive in ways he had never experienced before, as though the structure itself was aware of his presence. Solara stood at the edge of the chamber, her glowing form serene yet commanding. She had not slept, or perhaps did not need to. Her eyes, bright, radiant, infinitely knowing, met his with a mixture of expectation and patience. "It is time," she said softly, "to begin the true tests. The trials will grow more difficult. They will challenge your mind, your courage, and your compassion." The walls seemed alive, almost breathing, pulsating in harmony with the steps they took. Each footfall echoed, yet never quite the same, as if the structure itself was testing him, observing his reactions. They arrived at a chamber filled with floating platforms suspended over a seemingly endless void. The platforms shimmered with energy, their surfaces smooth and reflective. Between them, beams of light pulsed, connecting the platforms in complex patterns. "Your first challenge is one of balance and perception," Solara said. "These platforms respond to your intent. Move with focus and they will support you. Move with doubt and they may betray you." He moved slowly, concentrating on each step. The platforms reacted, tilting gently in response to his shifts in balance. It was not merely physical. He had to understand their rhythm, anticipate their subtle movements, and trust his instincts. Midway across, a sudden jolt made him stumble. His heart raced as he fought to regain control. He realized the platforms were not just responding to his weight, they were responding to his fear. He closed his eyes for a moment, breathing steadily, and let himself feel calm. Slowly, carefully, he continued. By the time he reached the final platform, his arms were trembling, but he had succeeded. Solara observed silently, her expression unreadable. "Courage is not the absence of fear," she said. "It is the ability to act despite it. You have passed this test, but greater challenges await." The next chamber was unlike anything he had ever imagined. It appeared as a vast garden, yet the plants and creatures were alien in form. Some glowed with soft bioluminescence, others moved with fluid grace. Strange insects with translucent wings hummed in patterns that resonated in Ethan's chest. The air smelled faintly sweet, with a richness he could not name. Solara gestured for him to follow. "Here you will face a test of empathy. You will encounter beings in need of your understanding and care. Observe carefully, for not all challenges are solved through strength or intelligence." The creature emitted high-pitched sounds, almost like cries for help, but they were more than sound, they were a language of distress. Instinctively, Ethan moved closer, careful not to harm it further. He studied the vines and realized they responded to heat and pressure. Using his hands with gentle precision, he freed the creature. As it wriggled free, it emitted a series of melodic tones. The vibrations filled the chamber, resonating with the structure itself. Ethan felt a warmth spreading through him, an acknowledgement that his action had mattered. Solara's voice echoed softly. "Many species would ignore this life. Many would destroy it in their haste. But you understand that empathy is as powerful as intellect. This is why you were chosen." Ethan entered a chamber where a maze of shifting walls awaited. Holographic projections of alien symbols floated in the air, their meanings obscure. Somewhere within the maze, a critical energy core hummed. His task was to reach it before the maze reconfigured itself completely, or risk being trapped indefinitely. Ethan moved cautiously, interpreting the patterns of symbols and walls. Each wrong turn caused the corridors to twist, elongate, and collapse in unpredictable ways. He had no maps, no guidance, only his wits, instincts, and the faint intuition that Solara had subtly influenced the maze's behavior. Hours seemed to pass. He fell, stumbled, and nearly gave up more than once, but he refused to yield. Human determination, stubbornness, and creativity guided him. He used a fragment of debris as a lever to prop open a collapsing passage and calculated the timing of moving walls with simple logic. Step by step, he advanced. Finally, he reached the core. The chamber pulsed as the energy stabilized, bathing Ethan in a radiant light. He felt a surge of accomplishment, but also exhaustion unlike anything he had known. He had relied on his mind and heart equally, not just strength or technology. Solara appeared at his side, her glow soft and comforting. "You have succeeded in tests that would confound most species. You have demonstrated what machines cannot: ingenuity, empathy, and moral courage. You are human, and this is your greatest strength." "Why me? Why humans? Surely other species could face these trials." "You can alter the course of events in ways others cannot foresee. It will define your kind's potential in the galaxy." Then he remembered something Solara had said. Empathy is as powerful as intellect. Ethan smiled faintly, heart swelling. Celera's voice echoed warmly. You understand life in ways few beings do. You have passed the final trial of this stage. You act not for reward, not for survival alone, but because it is right. This is the essence of humanity. The structure had observed, challenged, and shaped him, but he had learned that his humanity was not a weakness. It was the foundation of his strength. Hours passed. The garden faded, and the corridor led them to a quiet chamber overlooking the planet's surface. Storms still raged across the horizon, but the view was mesmerizing. Alien mountains, glowing valleys, and structures that hinted at civilizations far older and more advanced than humanity. You have done well, Celera said. But your journey does not end here. The galaxy is vast, and there are forces that would see your kind diminished or destroyed. You have proven that humanity can rise to challenges that others cannot. This knowledge is both a gift and a burden. Humanity's potential is vast, yet fragile. Your actions will be remembered not just by your kind, but by those who watch the galaxy. He realized that he was part of something larger than himself, a force that could influence not just a planet or a star system, but the destiny of humanity itself. As he settled to rest once more, Ethan reflected on the lessons of the day. Fear could be overcome. Compassion was a strength. Intelligence alone was not enough. And sometimes the smallest choices, like saving a fragile creature, could carry consequences far beyond immediate perception. Celera watched him silently, a faint smile tracing her radiant features. She had encountered countless species, but few had shown the combination of courage, intellect, and empathy that Ethan had. Humans, despite their imperfections, held a potential that could rival the most advanced civilizations. And somewhere deep within the structure, a network of energy pulsed in acknowledgement of the human who had proven that survival was not just about strength or cunning, but about the heart that guided every action. Ethan drifted into a restless sleep, his dreams filled with alien landscapes, challenges, and possibilities. He did not yet know the full scope of the trials ahead, but he knew one thing clearly. Being human was not a limitation. It was the key to survival, understanding, and perhaps the very reason Celera had sought him out. As dawn, or what passed for dawn on Cypher 9, broke across the alien horizon, Ethan felt a renewed determination. He had been tested, he had learned, and he had survived. And in doing so, he had begun to understand what it truly meant to be human in a universe that was vast, mysterious, and full of both danger and wonder. Ethan awoke to a soft, pulsating light filling the chamber. The alien structure hummed around him, alive in a way he had come to understand over the past days. He stretched, feeling both the weariness of countless trials and the quiet exhilaration of survival. Today, he sensed, would reveal the true purpose of Celera's tests. Celera appeared before him, her presence as radiant as ever. Ethan, she said, her voice gentle yet carrying authority, you have proven courage, empathy, and intelligence. But the final trial is the most significant. It is not about surviving challenges, but about choosing the path for your people, for your kind. He looked around the chamber and noticed a vast holographic display shimmering in the air. It depicted countless star systems, some glowing with life, others dark and silent. Alien civilizations moved along trade routes and warpaths, and Ethan realized with a chill that humanity was insignificant in this vast network. What do I have to do?" he asked. Celera extended her hand. A small device, glowing faintly with blue light, floated into Ethan's palm. This contains knowledge and technology your species has never known. You can use it to defend your world or to explore the stars and form alliances. But you must decide. Return to Earth with it, or stay here and learn more of my civilization, potentially altering humanity's evolution forever. The choice seemed impossible. Returning to Earth meant he could help humanity immediately, prepare them for threats he had only glimpsed. Staying could give him knowledge beyond imagination, but would remove him from his people and possibly change the course of human history in ways he could not predict. Celera's eyes, radiant and understanding, met his. Whatever you choose, the galaxy will remember your decision. Your kind is capable of greatness, but only if guided by wisdom and courage. Decide wisely, human. Yet part of him longed to understand Celera's civilization, to see the galaxy through her eyes, and perhaps bring back knowledge that could change humanity forever. Finally, he made his choice. I will return to Earth, he said, voice firm. My people need this knowledge. I need to prepare them, show them that humanity can survive, and that our qualities, courage, empathy, creativity, can matter in the universe. Walls moved to create a clear path leading back to the surface. Ethan followed Celara, the glowing device cradled carefully in his hands. Outside, the storm clouds that had battered Cypher-9 for centuries swirled in violent colors. Lightning illuminated alien landscapes, casting shadows across jagged mountains and crystalline structures. "Be cautious," Celara said. "The galaxy is vast and not all beings will welcome humanity. Some will see you as prey, others as a threat. Your choices will matter." Their shapes were unfamiliar and their purpose immediately apparent. They were hunting, scanning for life. He jumped into his ship, starting the repairs with trembling hands. Every action mattered. He could not afford a misstep. The alien technology Celara had provided pulsed softly, resonating with the ship's systems, helping him stabilize the failing engines. It was almost as if the device itself guided him. The alien vessels approached rapidly. Ethan's heart pounded. His first instinct was fear, yet he remembered Celara's lessons. Courage was not the absence of fear. He focused, adjusting the ship's course, using both his wits and the alien technology to navigate the storm. The vessels mirrored his movements but did not anticipate his unpredictability. He realized that, in this universe, humanity's greatest weapon was ingenuity and creativity, the ability to act unpredictably in ways machines and aliens could not foresee. With a final surge of energy, Ethan launched into the upper atmosphere, leaving the alien vessels behind. The storm raged below, but he had escaped. He looked at the glowing device, feeling its energy resonate with him almost like a heartbeat. It was a reminder that survival was not just about escaping danger. It was about understanding, adapting, and using knowledge wisely. Days passed as Ethan navigated the void, making his way back to human space. Every moment was tense. He was alone and the galaxy was vast. But he thought about Celara's words about humanity's potential, and he realized something profound. Even though humans were small in the universe, their qualities, courage, empathy, creativity, were forces that could influence events far beyond their size. When he finally approached Earth, relief washed over him. Blue oceans stretched beneath him, green forests swayed in the wind, and cities sparkled with life. Humanity had no idea of the challenges awaiting beyond the stars, but Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. He would prepare them. He would ensure that humans were not merely observers, but active participants in the galaxy's unfolding story. He activated the communication system, sending encrypted messages to the Earth Command Center. Data packets filled with alien knowledge, technology schematics, and warnings about approaching threats. Ethan's mind raced with possibilities. Humanity had survived countless challenges on their own world, but now they had the chance to rise among the stars, guided by their unique strengths. As he prepared to land, a signal came from the alien device. Celara's voice resonated in his mind, clear and calm. "Ethan, remember, your kind is capable of greatness. Protect it, guide it, and never forget the lessons you have learned here. Humanity's future is bright, but it will only thrive if it embraces what makes it human." Survival was not merely about technology, weapons, or numbers. It was about morality, compassion, intelligence, and the ability to make choices that reflected one's values. Humanity's unpredictability, its flaws, and its strengths were all part of what made it remarkable. The ship touched down gently, engines humming softly as it settled on the familiar terrain of Earth. Ethan stepped out, inhaling the air, feeling the weight of his mission pressing on him. He was no longer just an explorer. He was a messenger, a bridge between humanity and a galaxy that had long observed them, waiting for them to demonstrate their potential. In the following weeks, humanity's perspective began to shift. Ethan worked tirelessly, sharing Celara's knowledge and technology with the leaders and scientists he could trust. He demonstrated the importance of human qualities, decision-making, empathy, adaptability, in handling new technologies and challenges. Slowly, people began to understand that their greatest strength lay not just in their machines or weapons, but in their humanity. Celara's presence remained a memory, a guiding force. Occasionally, the device pulsed softly, reminding Ethan that he was connected to her civilization and that the galaxy was vast, filled with both allies and adversaries. Humanity's journey among the stars had only just begun, but for the first time they had a guide, and a reminder that their survival depended on embracing what made them unique. Years passed. Ethan became a leader in interstellar diplomacy and exploration. He established contacts with other civilizations, always advocating for alliances built on understanding, respect, and cooperation. Humanity's reputation grew. They were known not just as clever or resourceful, but as compassionate, courageous, and unpredictable, a species that could not be easily conquered or controlled. And somewhere far beyond the reaches of known space, Celera observed silently. She had seen countless species, witnessed empires rise and fall, but humans were different. Their choices, their creativity, and their morality had impressed her. She had asked a simple question when she first met Ethan. "Are you alone, human?" Ethan had carried that message back, and through him, humanity had begun to step confidently into a universe that was vast, mysterious, and full of both danger and wonder. Ethan often reflected on his encounter with Celera. He realized that being human was a responsibility as much as it was a gift. Each choice mattered. Every act of courage or empathy had the potential to ripple across the stars. And though the galaxy was filled with unknown dangers, he knew that humanity's unique qualities would allow them to thrive, adapt, and leave their mark on the universe. As he looked up at the night sky, he imagined the distant stars where Celera's civilization lay, vast and radiant. He imagined the possibilities awaiting humanity, alliances with alien species, explorations of uncharted worlds, and challenges that would test their courage and morality again and again. But he was ready. Humanity was ready. And the galaxy, once distant and unknowable, had become a stage upon which human qualities could shine, proving that even in the vastness of space, humanity was capable of greatness. Ethan smiled, feeling the weight of his experiences and the promise of the future. He had crossed the threshold of the alien queen's domain, survived trials no other human had faced, and returned to Earth not just with knowledge but with understanding. Humanity had a chance, a real chance, to rise among the stars, not as prey, not as passive observers, but as a species whose courage, empathy, and ingenuity could shape the destiny of the galaxy. And somewhere far away, Celera's eyes glimmered faintly, watching, waiting, knowing that humanity's story had only just begun.